Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 4, Slabtown. And we finally got to see what Beth was up to in this episode. And it was definitely a good one. It was a great episode. It's solely focused on this hospital, which, of course, is actually in Atlanta. And we got to meet a new character. We got introduced to Noah, who I do believe is in the comics. I can't remember what his character is or anything, so I can't possibly spoil that. But I do believe he is a character from the comic books. I like this character. We got a little bit about his backstory. I think that's probably all we're gonna get out of his backstory, but it was kind of messed up. They're in this place. It's like it should be nice. Of course, we all knew from the trailer when Beth got hit by the female cop. When she hit her in the trailer alone, it's like wherever she is, it's not a good place. And we find out exactly how things work in this episode. And basically, we saved your life, so you owe us. They really play that up, like you owe us for saving your life, and we say how long you owe us for. And every time you do anything, if you eat food, you owe us. I'm sure they take it all the way down to the fact that if you sleep on the bed and it's comfortable, then you owe us. So everyone owes these cops. Basically, they're the ones who run the place, and they've gone from just cops to just over the top cops, and they've taken over the place, and they bring people in and they have them do whatever they want to. And the one thing I really, really enjoyed about this episode is the fact that we didn't have to wait to see the end of one of the people who I thought would kind of be the villain, which is the sort of the guy cop who had a real big focus. It's like the woman who runs the place, and then the guy who's really causing the issues, who is physically more powerful than her, and that's why she couldn't exactly stand up to him, because he would have done something to take her out, and he could have just done it up front, and she wouldn't have been able to outpower him. And I enjoyed the fact that we didn't have to suffer through him being this horrible person for multiple episodes that Beth had to suffer with. He got killed in this episode, and I was like, I really enjoyed that, because it's like he became a villain, and it was like the woman who leads everyone and him. And I was like, all right, that's two people that need to get killed off. And now he's dead, so it's just the female cop, because at some point, with her being the leader, it's just not great. She has to get killed off because she's clearly insane. I don't know if it'll somehow change, but I highly doubt that it will. It'll probably be made worse, despite the fact that the one really big issue they had literally got killed off by a zombie in this episode. So I don't know how things are really going to work with Beth in this place now, but everything's kind of just come crashing around her. She was saved, and she owes these people. She tries to escape. She doesn't make it. Noah does. I was glad to see that she didn't get killed, because I was really freaking out because she got surrounded. And I'm like, okay, like what the heck's gonna happen? And then when she threw off the first zombie, I thought, okay, she's just gonna push her way out and she's gonna make it. And then unfortunately she gets captured because the cops came out after them and they shoot up the zombies. Noah makes it out, so he's of course the one that Daryl ends up finding. And I hope that they focus on that at least a little bit in next week's episode. But I'm excited for what they're going to be doing for that one. They didn't show anything, but I'm hoping that at least gets like a side story focus. So basically Noah and Carol end up switching places, and now Beth and Carol are going to have to find their way out, which is going to be really difficult because Beth can't exactly say like, hey, I know this person, because I feel like if she says, oh, I know her, I recognize this woman, that's going to put Carol in a lot of danger, because of course Beth right now is on the like thinnest version of ice possible. So she's gonna have to really work around it, and she's gonna have to be really smart about it, because she can't just say, oh, that's Carol, of course I know her, because they would probably kill Carol off based on the story we got from Noah, where he realized over time that his father, they let his father die because he was strong enough to revolt. They would have done the same thing with Carol, even though she was a woman. They would have known, like, okay, Beth as a young woman was able to do all this crazy crap and she got out of here. I can only imagine what a full-grown woman could do if they've gone through the same stuff and they know each other so well. They probably have like the same strengths, even, and this woman probably has even more with just years of normal life experience. So I feel like if they knew Beth and Carol were friends, they would probably kill Carol off, because they'd be like, well, we can't possibly give Beth another weapon to go up against us, because they'd just be scheming together. But we're gonna have to wait and see how that does end up playing out. I'm hoping that I'm assuming at some point they're gonna find out that Beth and Carol know each other. They won't be able to just hide that forever, but they could play it off as they met and it's just like they just become really good friends. But it was a really great episode. I'm excited to see what they do with that storyline and when we're gonna get back to it. I kind of love the episodes when they really go back in time because it starts when she woke up, and I'm not sure how long it's really been because they skip time from the last season to this season. It's only been maybe a couple of days, so they start back like when Beth was kidnapped, but at the same time, even that was like days. It seemed like it was maybe 4 or 5 days when that happened because after that was when Daryl ended up with the roaming hunter people who were going after Rick when he was in that house, and that lasted for quite a few days. And it was Rick, Michonne, and Carl, and then they met up with Daryl. All that stuff happened. I think it was maybe possibly 2 to 3 days. So it goes through that, and then them getting to Terminus, and then Terminus being destroyed, and where they are now is basically where it ended. So I'd say that has to have been over a week, so maybe a week and a half or something. They skip through a lot of time, of course, but I love when they do that with episodes where someone's just been gone, they've been somewhere, and so they go back in time and we get to see everything that happened leading up to the present. So it'll be exciting to see how this storyline plays out. And there are just multiple storylines. It's Beth with Carol now in this hospital and them trying to figure out how the heck do we get out of here. For one, it's super dangerous. Two, they're going to be on the lookout for Beth because she's on ultra thin ice, so there's no way in the world that she's going to be able to just walk around freely anymore because the woman hates her way more than she did before. And even the doctor isn't really going to be on Beth's side too much anymore because Beth found out his secret. Like, he let that guy die, or really he had her kill him because then there would have been another doctor. So she was about to kill that guy then, and of course it's like Carol comes in. Initially I thought she stopped because it's like you couldn't see it at first because it was just like someone far away and it was just upside down, but it seemed like she stopped at first because it's like, oh, there's just a new person they're saving. And she kind of had a moment like, I want to kill this guy because he had me kill someone else because he was so scared, but he is really the only doctor right now, and I can't kill him because who knows how many other people would die because of that when they could have been saved. And then it's like, actually it's just the fact that she recognized the person and it's Carol, which is way more exciting than I just can't kill him because I'm at least a good human being. But either way, I think it was a really great way to have it where she was just fed up. She was going to kill this guy, and who knows, that probably would have got her killed. Like I said, she already got the one guy killed, and the woman was ignoring everything he was doing anyway, and she still got mad about it. Like, she knew what this guy was up to, and she just let it slide, and he's dead. And it's just like, I lost a cop, and she's mad at Beth as if it was really her fault. But I love this episode. I can't wait to see them get back to the story. And like I said, based on the preview, I don't know if it's going to even remotely touch this story. It's probably going to focus all on the people that are heading to Washington, so I guess Abraham's group technically. And I love that because as soon as they split off, I was hoping, and I believe I said this last week, I was really excited to see how they played the rest of the season with there being really 3 separate storylines, because we have Rick's group, which is the main group, it's most of the characters, and now we have the Beth storyline, which is still continuing because unfortunately she wasn't able to escape. We have Abraham's group is the 3rd group, and they're heading off to Washington, so it's going to focus on that. And I know Rick's group is going to definitely blend into Beth's storyline. They're going to head there. I can say that now. Noah's going to, they found Noah somehow, and, whatever went down, he's going to lead them back to this hospital, and they're going to save Beth and Carol if they haven't already escaped. And then it's going to be like another crazy war where they go into this hospital and they have to kill off a bunch of people and somehow, find their way up. The cops found their way down, so of course there's a safe way up, but they're going to have to fight their way up through this hospital to kill off these crazy people, mostly the cops, and then everyone else will kind of either be freed or, who knows how it's really going to play out because it's The Walking Dead. Who knows who's going to make it through that little thing. But I really loved it, and I'm excited to see really how Noah joins in with the main group, I'm sure it'll be really fine because of course Daryl's gonna, vet for him like, hey, this guy was in the hospital. He knows where Beth is. He has like a broken leg. He basically swapped places with Carol, so he's a good guy. He's gonna help us get Beth and Carol back. So I know he's gonna fit in fine. It'll just be interesting to see how things work for him because he mentions how he kind of came into things and it seemed like it was really early on. He seemed like he mentioned he was there for a year, which I believe in the actual time of the show that is most of the apocalypse. I think it's been maybe a year and a half. It's probably been a little more, so maybe half the time. But say it's a year worth of living out crazy in the zombie world, and then an entire year just stuck in this hospital. He hasn't been outside or anything. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes a role on Enric's group because we have Father Gabriel, who is like the least qualified person to help fight any of the zombies, and then we have Noah, who's a new character who went through this experience before, but he's kind of been neutered from it for an entire year, stuck in this hospital, and he's been beat just by other humans, and that's completely different than going outside and surviving a zombie attack. So I'm excited to see how he blends in, not just as a character talking to everyone and how they get along, but also the role he takes on and how much of a fighter he's going to be with the rest of the group and what they learn from him and what he might learn from them since he has kind of been neutered for being stuck in this hospital for a year now. But I love this episode. It was really great. It was a nice focus. I wish we could have seen everything that happened with Noah, like if it ended and we just saw the interaction between Daryl and Noah and how they found him, because I'm very curious now about how they switched places because something had to happen. There had to have been some crazy accident with the car because Daryl and Carol were in this car. They follow the van back, and I'm very curious about how things happened. Either they attacked these people or the people got attacked and they were trying to help them and Carol got knocked out and Daryl got separated and then he found Noah and the other people took her back and it's like, well, we can't save this guy because he took off. I want to know exactly what happened, and who knows, maybe they just flat out took her because honestly the story they were telling with Beth, it was like, I don't know if she really got knocked out or if they just kidnapped her or something. That's how it seemed to me. Just the story they told seemed like they still kidnapped her, but who knows? We're gonna definitely find out at some point, I have to assume. But I love this episode. It brings up a lot of other questions. Like I said, the whole switching situation. How did that go down without Daryl just flat out going with Carol and seeing how she was gonna survive that, and of course how everything's gonna go with Noah in the group. But I love the episode. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And we got another new character in this episode who I think is gonna. We technically have the leader, but I don't count her. I count Noah really because I can kind of guess the woman's gonna end up getting killed at some point because she's like the villain right now. So we have Noah. I'm counting Noah as the new member because he's not gonna get killed off, I hope. So what do you guys think of Noah's introduction into the series? Do you like his character? Do you not like his character? What do you want to really see him do in this series? If you had to say, like, based on what you've seen, what do you want to see him do next? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.